Imagine a world where the most essential and nourishing proteins for infants and adults can be brewed with precision rather than milked from cows or extracted from fields. Picture a future where the closest match to human milk is not a rare luxury, but a product of advanced biotechnology, flowing not from dairy farms, but from state-of-the-art fermentation tanks ready to transform the way we think about food, health, and sustainability. It may sound like something from a science fiction novel, but this vision is rapidly becoming a reality, right now, in laboratories and startups across the globe. Welcome to the revolution of precision fermentation, a breakthrough that is shaking up both the scientific community and the business world. For years, the food industry has faced a stubborn obstacle. Essential proteins, like lactoferrin, indispensable for infant health and robust immunity, have been notoriously scarce and prohibitively expensive. To obtain just a single kilogram of purified lactoferrin, traditional dairy processes demand at least 10,000 liters of milk. The price tag? Anywhere from $750 to a staggering $1,500 per kilogram. At those prices, lactoferrin is a premium ingredient, typically reserved for high-end infant formulas or niche health supplements, and out of reach for the vast majority of the global population. Why all the fuss about lactoferrin? This remarkable protein, naturally abundant in human milk and bovine colostrum, plays a critical role in supporting gut health, fortifying immunity, fighting infections, and even preventing certain types of cancer. Scientific studies have shown that lactoferrin can help regulate iron absorption, inhibit harmful bacteria, and stimulate the body's own immune defenses. In fact, recent research has revealed lactoferrin's antiviral properties against a range of viruses, including the influenza virus and coronaviruses. It is no wonder, then, that demand for lactoferrin is soaring worldwide. Analysts forecast that the global market for lactoferrin will climb to over $2 billion by the year 2027, driven by its use in infant formulas, nutraceuticals, sports nutrition, and beyond. Yet the supply side is a bottleneck. Traditional dairy farming is resource-intensive, requiring enormous amounts of land, water, and energy. The environmental footprint is significant. Dairy herds contribute to greenhouse gas emissions, and the infrastructure needed to process milk adds further to the ecological toll. According to a recent study published in Nature Food, precision fermentation could slash the land needed for protein production by as much as 90% compared to conventional agriculture. It could also cut carbon emissions by up to half. These are not just incremental improvements, they are seismic shifts in efficiency and sustainability, heralding a new era for how we produce and consume vital nutrients. Now let's meet one of the disruptors at the heart of this transformation, PFx Biotech, a bold startup based in Portugal. Founded in the year 2022 by the visionary trio of Ali Osman, Harry Barraza, and Diana Oliveira, PFx Biotech is on a mission to democratize nutrition and make human milk proteins accessible to millions. With €5 million in funding, half of it from a prestigious European Union grant, and the rest from forward-thinking investors like Buena Vista Equity Partners, EIT Food, and Beta Capital, PFx Biotech is quickly becoming a leader in the next generation of food technology. So, how does precision fermentation work in this context? Imagine taking the genetic blueprint, the DNA sequence, of a specific human milk protein, such as lactoferrin, and inserting it into specially engineered microbes, often yeast or bacteria. These microbes become tiny, living factories. When fed water, sugar, and a cocktail of nutrients inside a bioreactor, they churn out pure proteins that are structurally and functionally identical to those found in human breast milk. After fermentation, the proteins are meticulously extracted and purified, ensuring safety and consistency. The applications are vast, from infant formulas designed to closely mimic the composition of breast milk, to dietary supplements for the elderly, to functional foods for athletes seeking faster recovery and improved performance. Dr. Emma Teeling, a leading geneticist at University College Dublin, puts it succinctly. Precision fermentation offers a sustainable and ethical way to produce essential nutrients for infant formula and beyond, reducing our dependence on animal agriculture and making nutrition more accessible. But every technological leap comes with a new set of challenges. Scaling up from laboratory experiments to industrial-scale production is a monumental task. Building a full-scale precision fermentation facility requires a capital investment that can range from $100 million to $500 million. These figures may seem astronomical, but when weighed against the environmental and health benefits, as well as the potential to disrupt multi-billion-dollar markets, the investment begins to make sense. For example, PFx Biotech recently won the Most Innovative Nutraceutical Ingredient Award at VitaFoods Europe's Startup Challenge, a recognition that underlines both its technical prowess and its commercial potential. However, it is not just about building factories. The regulatory landscape is complex and demanding. Only a few companies, namely TurtleTree in the United States and All-G, operating in both China and the United States, have thus far secured official approval to sell animal-free lactoferrin. Regulatory authorities in Europe, North America, and Asia require an abundance of scientific data, rigorous safety testing, and above all, transparency. The approval process can take years and cost millions, but it is essential for winning public trust. Consumer perception is another battleground. Surveys show that around 40% of American adults are willing to try foods produced through precision fermentation. Still, the technology is new, and many consumers remain cautious, especially when it comes to products intended for the most vulnerable populations, infants and the elderly. Dr. Robert Hutkins, a respected authority in food science at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, emphasizes, "The key to consumer acceptance is transparency and clear communication about the benefits and safety. People need to know what they are eating and why it matters." Beyond lactoferrin, PFx Biotech is developing other crucial human milk proteins such as alpha-lactalbumin and osteopontin. Alpha-lactalbumin makes up as much as a quarter of the protein content in breast milk and is renowned for its ability to provide essential amino acids and bioactive peptides for infants. It also has benefits for adults, improving sleep quality, enhancing cognitive resilience, and relieving stress. Osteopontin, another remarkable protein, is linked to improved immunity, better gut health, and even enhanced brain development in infants. For adults, it plays a role in bone health and helps regulate inflammation. By harnessing precision fermentation, PFx Biotech aims to bring these rare and valuable proteins to a much wider audience, enabling new formulations for wellness, recovery, and even specialized medical nutrition. To put this in perspective, let's look back at the history of food innovation. The idea of using microorganisms to produce valuable ingredients is not entirely new. For decades, the pharmaceutical industry has relied on fermentation to create life-saving drugs like insulin, which was once harvested from animal pancreases but is now made by genetically engineered bacteria. What is different today is the scale, sophistication, and ambition of the food sector's goals. Companies like PFx Biotech, TurtleTree, Helena, De Novo Food Labs, Numi, and Triple Bar are leading a global race, with each startup striving to solve the puzzle of efficient, affordable, and ethical protein production. According to Bruce Friedrich from the Good Food Institute, precision fermentation is transforming the entire food landscape. It gives us the power to produce a wide array of sustainable and nutritious ingredients, from dairy proteins to egg whites, without the environmental downsides of animal agriculture. In fact, in the year 2023 alone, precision fermentation companies attracted over $1.7 billion in investment, a clear signal of growing confidence among investors and innovators alike. The environmental implications are enormous. The traditional dairy industry is a significant contributor to methane emissions, water pollution, and deforestation. By contrast, precision fermentation can reduce the land required for protein production by up to 90% and shrink the carbon footprint by at least 50%, according to studies by independent researchers and industry groups. The European Commission, recognizing this potential, is investing €300 million in research and innovation projects focused on alternative proteins, including precision fermentation. Governments and global investors are quietly but steadily laying the groundwork for what could be a new era of sustainable food systems. But with every opportunity comes risk. Scaling up precision fermentation is not simple. Dr. Irina Borodina from the Technical University of Denmark cautions that optimizing microbial strains and fermentation systems is a colossal challenge. The production process must be not only efficient and cost competitive, but also robust enough to meet rigorous food safety standards. There are also ethical and societal considerations, such as the potential impact on traditional agriculture and rural economies, as well as concerns about the use of genetically modified organisms, even though many precision fermentation products are non-GMO by design. Consumer education will be pivotal. As Julian Mellenton from New Nutrition Business observes, Consumers today are seeking foods with added health benefits, but they also want to understand the story behind the product. Clear labeling, transparency about the process, and honest communication about the benefits will be crucial for mainstream acceptance. Looking ahead, the possible scenarios are both exciting and complex. If PFx Biotech and its peers succeed, we could see a future where the most essential proteins are no longer a scarce commodity, but a staple ingredient in everything from infant formula to protein shakes, sports bars, and even hospital meals for vulnerable patients. The entire food system could become more resilient, less dependent on animals, and better equipped to nourish a growing global population, which is expected to reach nearly 10 billion by the year 2050. Some experts even speculate that precision fermentation could one day be tailored to create personalized nutrition, with formulations designed to match the specific needs of individual babies, patients, or athletes. Imagine a world where every child, regardless of where they are born, can access the highest quality nutrition, and where our food choices help regenerate, rather than deplete, the environment. Of course, there are challenges on the horizon. Concerns have been raised about potential allergens or unforeseen health risks associated with novel proteins. Regulatory agencies are working closely with scientists to ensure rigorous testing and monitoring. There are also important discussions about the impact on jobs in traditional agriculture and dairy industries. Policymakers, businesses, and communities will need to collaborate to ensure that the transition to new food technologies is fair, inclusive, and socially responsible. So, what does all of this mean for you, the viewer? First, it is a powerful reminder that the future of food is being written right now. The choices you make as a consumer, what you buy, what you try, and what you share with friends and family can accelerate or slow down the adoption of sustainable, ethical, and health-boosting innovations. Would you be willing to try a protein shake, a yogurt, or an infant formula made from precision-fermented proteins? Would you choose foods that are not only good for your body but also for the planet? For parents, nutritionists, and anyone passionate about health, the coming years will bring a flood of new options. For investors and entrepreneurs, the alternative protein sector represents one of the most dynamic and impactful fields in the modern economy. For policymakers, the challenge is to ensure that regulatory frameworks keep up with innovation, protecting public health while enabling progress. Let's end with the big question. Can PFx Biotech and its global competitors truly scale precision fermentation to revolutionize nutrition for billions? The answer is not yet clear, but the momentum is undeniable. With scientific breakthroughs, growing investment, and a rising tide of consumer interest, the stage is set for a once-in-a-generation transformation. The journey will require overcoming technical hurdles, building public trust, and forging partnerships across industries and borders. Not every startup will make it, but the sector as a whole is advancing rapidly. Here's an inside fact. While PFx Biotech and others are racing to bring human milk proteins to market, the European Commission is quietly but confidently backing the field with 300 million euros in research funding for alternative proteins. Governments and investors are betting that this science will pay off, not just in profits, but in human health and planetary well-being. Will precision fermentation become the gold standard for global nutrition, or remain a high-tech curiosity? The answer will depend on innovation, communication, and yes, your choices as a consumer and citizen. So, what is your take? Would you trust food brewed by microbes to nourish your family? Would you be willing to shift your habits for a healthier future? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more in-depth explorations into the future of food, health, and technology. Until next time, keep your mind open, your curiosity sharp.